I was halfway through my Saturday morning coffee when I heard it had slow, gritty screech, like metal tearing through metal, but sharper. Almost deliberate. I knew that sound. Anyone who loves their car knows that sound. It's the sound of a key slicing through paint, and before I even set my mug down, I was on my balcony, looking down at the parking lot just in time to see her. There she was. Oversized sunglasses, tank top 2 sizes too small, and a lanyard with her self-issued HOA badge bouncing off her chest like it meant something. And in her hand? A full ring of keys, one of them dragging like a blade across the cherry red side panel of my Dodge Challenger. My car. My business card. My pride. She wasn't even hiding it. She was grinning like she was carve-wying a turkey, humming some off-key melody, and stepping back to admire her destruction like it was art. I should have been furious. I should have yelled. But I didn't. I stayed up there, fingers gripping the railing, and whispered to myself, showtime. See, what Karen didn't know, I know her name was Margaret or something proper, but let's be real. She was a total Karen was that I'd installed 3 different cameras. Front dash, side mirror, even the HOA building's own motion cam. I had angles. I had audio. I had EVY Denke. But what made this better, what made it delicious, was that she thought she was scratching the toy of some reckless tenant. She didn't know she'd just keyed the car of the guy who owned the biggest custom auto shop in the entire county. She thought she was going after a nuisance. She just declared war on the wrong damn person. I let her finish. Didn't interrupt. Didn't flinch. Just sipped the last of my coffee, pulled out my phone, and started texting. First was Markham videographer. It's time, I wrote. Then Joel at the shop. Then Lacey, who knew HOA bylaws like most people know Netflix passwords. By the time I strolled down to the lot, Karen had switched from vandal mode to HOA enforcer mode. Hands on hips, barking about VY Sewell violations, how my car's decals were an eyesore, how the engine noise broke the tranquility of our community aesthetic. She looked me up and down like I was gum on her shoe. I could see the judgment in her face, tattoos, grease under my nails, 20-something in a leather jacket. She assumed I was renting. Assumed I couldn't possibly be the owner of the very building we were standing next to. You know whose car this is? She asked. Sure do, I said, grinning. Well, you should tell them they're violating HOA guidelines. Loud engines, bright paint, it's disruptive. I'll let them know, I nodded. She scoffed and walked off, muttering something about standards and fines. I didn't stop her. Just kept smiling. Because now, she wasn't just a pain. She was a case study. Back in my apartment, I pieced together the footage, multiple angles, perfect lighting, even a clear shot of her humming. It was practically cinematic. Marco was going to eat this up. I labeled the folder Karen Justice and sent it to Lacey. Lacey called me 5 minutes later laughing so hard she could barely breathe. We're going to use the bylaws. All of them. Turns out Karen had been issuing fake citations, fining people for things like unapproved wind chimes and excessively joyful doormats. No joke. She once wrote up a guy for HOA-ing a hammock that looked lazy. That afternoon, I drove the Challenger to the shop, scratches and all. Joel raised an eyebrow. Karen. Yup. He chuckled and held up a buffer. Want it fixed? Not yet. Let her see the damage every day. Let it simmer. Next step? Set the bait. We printed fake HOA raffle flyers. Winner gets a free luxury vehicle diagnostic. Guess whose name was at the top? Karen Wixon. She brought her Lexus in the next day, full Karen mode. Didn't read a thing. Signed the waivers. Handed over her keys. We didn't break anything. We weren't that petty. But we had fun. We reprogrammed the GPS to detour her to alpaca farms and mattress outlets. Changed the backup chime to a cat's meow. Set the seat warmers to max at random stops. And best of all, when she opened the door, the stereo blasted, Karen Needs to Chill, TikTok Remix Edition. It was petty, but it was art. While Joel worked on the car, Lacey was gathering allies. Mrs. Gutierrez from down the street? Turned out Karen fined her for patriotic garden flags. She was ready to burn down the HOA board. We build a case. By the end of the week, we had over 20 statements, 3 videos, and a petition for Karen's suspension. The night of the HOA meeting, the room was packed. Karen stood there like she was running for office, clipboard in hand, blazer 2 sizes too small. She started with her usual nonsense, talked about preserving tranquility, car modifications, and how certain elements were making the neighborhood feel less refined. Then Lacey stood up. Before we discuss policies, let's discuss property damage. Karen froze. The projector flicked on. Footage of Karen keying my car played angle after angle. Crystal clear. She tried to talk. Lacey cut her off. Quoted section 12.3 of the HOA charter. Grounds for immediate suspension. Mrs. Gutierrez stood. Motion to suspend Karen effective immediately. Cheers. Applause. Vote held. 301. Karen voted for herself. Obviously. Karen exploded. Said it was all doctored. Claimed harassment. Rambled about conspiracies. Then a man in the back stood up. I'm from the mayor's office. Due to multiple complaints, the HOA is under temporary review. Karen's face collapsed. The next day, my tires were slashed. Surveillance caught her husband. Police report filed. More neighbors came forward. Karen's reign wasn't just over, it was collapsing. We hosted Community Car Day. Free services for anyone Karen had targeted. Hundreds showed up. Stories were shared. My team wrapped every car with anti-scratch film. We laughed, we fixed, we healed. Then came the final blow. Karen showed up at 10 p.m. with a bottle of paint thinner caught on camera again. This time, sprinklers hit her mid-sneak. She screamed, dropped the bottle, ran. That footage? It sealed the case. Charges were filed. Court date set. She showed up in pearls and pride. Her lawyer tried. Failed. She lost. Fined. Restrained. Done. A week later, a moving truck appeared. Karen tried to sneak out, neighbors clapped. We didn't cheer out of spite. We cheered because, finally, peace had a chance. That weekend, we hosted a cookout. Kids played, parents laughed. My challenger sat in the middle, polished and proud. Lacey nudged me. Think she'll come back. If she does, I said, she won't recognize this place. Because this was a community again. And Karen? She picked the wrong car, the wrong guy, and the wrong neighborhood. So tell me, what would you have done if someone keyed your car just to prove a point? Would you go loud? Or would you go smart? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk justice, neighbors, and the fine line between order and control.